in this episode.
Yeah, nice. Guess I forgot to turn off a light last night.
And now,
God, it's gorgeous today. Good morning, guys. This is Dave from Saving Our Sanctuary. And if you've been following along, we're updating the workshop finally after Hurricane Ian took care of it. This episode, we're actually going to knock down the walls. I thought I'd break it all up into the components, so I have about 4 videos. This one being the walls come tumbling down. So if you like this, go ahead and subscribe, like it, comment, share it, hit that bell so you get notifications. A lot of stuff got done, a lot of stuff's getting done, and it's now starting to look like it's working out. No more rats. Enjoy. On-site engineer. I just gotta get this side started. Pump. What you doing? Oh, there's the other supervisor. All right. I think they're liking it. The fact that the shop's almost very significant. That's bad. Here, she's hunting. This is nuts. You gotta check this out. My dog makes all kinds of things out of that. Yeah, there, she's gonna try to get you. You made choices. Don't hurt yourself, Pump. Alright, back to this. Alright, all I'm going to do right now is exploit a crack. I think I did a couple cracks right in here. And there's another block this way, so what I want to do is exploit this crack right here. This one mostly. Yeah, it goes from here. I think it goes up this way. That's the top. I'm probably not going to do a whole lot as far as here. As long as I can get my big pry bar in here, I'll be good. That's a beehive. When this thing broken up, part of the hive fell out there. Bees are long since gone, but that's like the leftovers, obviously. Yeah, so pretty much the same as all the other stuff. I just knocked the hell out of this thing until I get it down to there, and then I build a wall like I did there until I get it up to there, and then move on to the next one. I don't know what those bags are for. I found a bunch of them in there so far. I don't think they were me. It was always on top of my stereo. Well, my stereo stuff's gonna go that way. A lot of these water lines are gonna disappear. They're gonna turn into packs, which are, I think, are better overall. These are CVPC, and they're very brittle. They're 25 years old now. Where I'm at. Of course, lots of cleanup. Once again, got building up a cinder block city. One second. That's usually more of a pain. I'm down here, and what the previous owner did, threw some concrete in here, I think dry mix, and then had like 1/2-inch gaps, which helps enormously if he threw concrete, because he did throw them in a few places. You can see that one has concrete down, or wet concrete, sorry, mixed concrete, or dry, that just, you know. Anyhow, this is where I'm at. As soon as I get to there, and that includes flush, maybe even past that, I think I'll start getting the wall ready. But I like my bald spot. Sorry, I lied about taking a break. Manage.
She's found the opening.
I should never open this wall. How'd get out of there? Guess I forgot to turn off a light last night. That was my current project. Wow, it's fun. It's a mess, but I did pull a bunch of bricks out last night. Still got a few, and then that'll be clear, and I'm ready to do a wall. After this, I'm gonna, when I shut this off, I'm actually gonna travel up to the big box store and get all my wood for the top part, because I ran out of regular 2x6s. Yeah, not looking too bad. Kind of weird. Sounds so nice now, doesn't it? Got to move this. This may take me a little longer because I have to move this wall and not destroy the wall on the front. So this stays, that stays, this stays at, you know, and then I'll figure out how to transition between the two. It shouldn't be too hard. It's only about 6 inches or so, or 8 inches. Wow. I left some stuff out. All right. I'm gonna eat my breakfast. As you can see, the sun's now starting to blaze down. But what I'm doing here is vertical cuts you have there. Trying to break where the cracks go horizontally, if I can, breaking it off, because I want this wall, and I want that, which goes out to here. You can see where I kind of cut them up, and I'll hit them again in a little while. Since I'm close enough to the end, I want to do more hammering and less of the flexing with the screwdriver, because the flexing will create cracks all the way down the horizon. You can see I got one right there based on the flexing I did earlier. That's okay, we'll figure it out. Nothing bad so far. Just kind of weird having no walls in my shop. Wow. I've been looking for that for the last 20 years. Yeah. Wow. I don't know what is this, 8 o'clock? 8:11 in the morning. And my back's already out. We're getting there. I'm trying to make cuts that'll keep the wall from disintegrating into the front. Sorry, I gotta put my stuff down. And it turns out the original wall, this all came out as either single block and double block, but 3 singles right here for this side. So the bottom, it's not too bad. Here is a double. That's going to be hanging out if I do it right. Double, single, double, single, double, single. Like you can tell, this is where the wall was this tall at that point, and now it's going to be, and then when I added stuff to it, it's going to, that's where it got interlocked, which is what it should be. Excuse me. There's a lot of that in this wall, because they built like dog pens, dog kennels, and they did them like one at a time, and then after they got through doing one, then they tried to attach the second one to it, so it was all these like single wall block right at the beam piling here, right, the piling there, right behind it would be a single straight up. So that was, I guess they added like 3 or 4 kennels, if I recall, and then a washing, outdoor washing for their clothes and stuff, which was interesting, to say the least. Not to mention they were Lady Kenmore's. And this was 2004 when we bought this. Lady Kenmore's, I think, stopped being made in 1984. So you see, we have bug intrusion, or no, that's actually outside, but there's some areas in here where there were some mud dauber nests and stuff. Yeah, right in the corner, if you can see it, it's way back there. I don't have any light with me. But right now the sun's on us. It rises in the east and sets in the west. So this is a north, south, east, west house. Guess which side I'm on. So I got lots of cinder blocks, and 2 weeks ago I was overwhelmed by how many cinder blocks I had, and I looked on Facebook Marketplace to see if there was any real call for them, and it looked like people were trying to sell them and all this other junk, and there were a few free ones. So last Friday, after thinking that we were going to turn these into concrete garden planer walls and stuff, which each block's like 40 or 50 pounds each, and that's a pain in the ass. Particularly my back's been killing me for the last 6 months, maybe, probably more. Just get used to it. So instead of doing that, I went ahead and put pictures out on Facebook Marketplace, and within seconds I started getting responses. I probably had 50 responses. The first guy was no show, but we kept missing times. It wasn't his fault, it was just the way things worked. And then the second one ghosted me. Oh, sorry, I have family emergency. You know those ones? That's about 50% of Facebook. And then the third one had already messaged like several times, why can't we come in tonight? We can come in tonight if you want them out earlier. And I didn't respond. I turn off my Facebook when I see a lot of them, and I only want it picked up in the weekend, and it said that, and it was Friday night, so I just turned it off. The next morning I opened it up and there they were. So anyhow, that third person came back 3 times and pretty much emptied out the place and said they were good at the end, which is nice. The guy who was the first guy, and he kept missing times, I told him, oh, don't worry about it, next week maybe I'll have some more. Yeah, so I'll message him once I get this down. I'll message him and let him know that they're here, and if he doesn't want to pick them up, that's good. I'll just do another one on Friday, or I'll just go down the list of people who want them, ask them if they want them now. Says, I got more, you want some? That's how I've done it before. Anyhow.
And now a story from the annals of vintage audio and hurricanes.
Can't believe it. That's a Yamaha CR840. What's on top of it? Oh, that's a TU 9800. That's a Pioneer from the golden age of Pioneer. 1977 or 8. Oh yeah, and that's the 8800 amplifier on top of it. The one that went poof in front of me right after the hurricane. We had to move my dad's house. I had to evacuate this house because there was nothing good going on in there. It was molding up and stuff. It rained inside the house for 10 hours. So we went to his house, and at that point I didn't have this big like stereo stand. I had a stereo stand, but it had gotten so wet, so much water came through that it puddled up down here and did about 2 inches of water. And 2 inches of water is just enough to destroy 2 very vintage, very dear speakers of mine. And so after that, I'm not going to leave anything in here. And plus, it was wide open. It wasn't wide open like this, but it was a quote-unquote abandoned house. And within the first 24 hours of it being quote-unquote abandoned, people tried to break into it. True story. I happened to be in the house with a gun, because right after something like that is kind of traumatic. And I had my pistol on me, or whatever it's called, my handgun. And I come out the door, I see these 3 guys coming through, stepping over the ruins. That was our front gate and stuff, because our whole front gate and everything got trashed. And they're walking up slowly, cautiously up my stairway. And I came out the door and just, what do you want? Oh, there's a couple of 3 guys from Texas. So they're big 4x dually sitting out in the front of the yard. A couple guys from Texas, and they were supposedly going to help me with my trees. At that point we had over 100 that were down, so now I'm good. I said, we can get it for $11,000 cash. Yeah, maybe that's what was their intention, but I'm not believing it, because we didn't have all the cars that were in the yard were either stuck behind trees. The ones that did move were already 2 blocks away at my dad's place. So anyhow, there's a story from the past. Believe it or not, I do tape decks and stereos and vintage, and you see all that stuff if you're in the vintage stereos. That one runs and works and is in the process. There's 1 light bulb missing in front. That's what those wires are. And I'm having a hard time finding the proper voltage. That one there now works. It has frozen arms on idler, but I gotta lube the rail tables and put it back together. That one there is going to, it's an F770. I got a really good deal on this, and it has a real hard time with fast forward and rewind, which says it's the idler tire, but I replaced the idler tire, I adjusted all the things. Still work in progress. Doesn't play. It does do the automatic forward and stuff like that. So I'm thinking it's still mechanical. That's why it's like that. I just needed a break on that one. That one I've accomplished, so I'll be putting it back together real soon. That one light bulb thing is the only thing wrong with it. I use it when I play tapes. Well, I don't use anything right now. That one there, I did a quote-unquote controversial fixing of the pinch roller arms, at least in 4 or 5 guys' eyes who are knowledgeable in all things Nakamichi. I call it bullshit, but that's okay. You do what you need to do to fix the problem we have. And that's what I did. But now you're hearing all kinds of stuff. Anyhow, that's my other hobby. That is one of my 2 hobbies. My hobbies are vintage. And it's not vintage clothes or vintage clocks or any of that. It's things like vintage stereos and vintage cars.
And we're back.
Tried out my new masonry bit. I mean, it's cutting down, but look how much I cut. It's pretty good, huh? Let's see if this translates into easier times. All right. Yeah, that's what I got 4 hours later. The cutting really helped. Although I go through 2 blades on this side, I only went through like 4 bricks and I went through 2 blades. But you know, at $3 each, I don't care. It's ready. I'm gonna frame up this side. The unsolved thing is this guy right here. It is live. So, and the junction box is right here. So I'm gonna go ahead. That's the old pool outlet. Sorry. Which is right over there. It got destroyed and trashed and I had to rebuild the boxes and stuff. But we don't have a pool anymore. But we do have a yard that we may want to, I don't know, fancy lights or something. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect the live wire, well, turn off the circuit, and get rid of this PVC to there. And I think I have a straight in, and I'll route it in a little further up. Maybe. And then I'm going to tap off this one for the outlets for this side of the house. And I think that's the only thing. I think that's the only thing that circuit's been on is it's been dedicated for the pool pump. Now, guys, I think this is it for this week. I'll keep you informed on what happens at the end, but I'm going to call this a day. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Whew. Starting to get hot. Press a like, share, comment, things like that. You know, by next week I'll probably have the siding on this. I'm thinking, and the interior stuff. I will not have expanded this yet, but I will be very much on my way for that. All right, guys, as usual, have a wonderful day. Make sure everything goes right for you. Use compassion and empathy to guide your decisions. And This is Dave, and I am out.